All right, well, here is our last little class on Michaels and Unusual 2-No Trump. If you remember, we talked about Michaels the first 2 days, and what we talked about that was you use Michaels typically when you have both majors, though it can show the unbid major and a minor. Always 5-5, usually good suits, pretty good suits, something like 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5 honors. Though, as you saw in one of the examples that I gave you on Wednesday, I guess it was, there was one that your hearts weren't quite so good, but I said I'd probably do it anyway. So that's the Michaels and Unusual 2-No Trump. And then we also talked yesterday about we talked about the Unusual 2-No Trump bid. And that's typically for the minor suits. Again, 5 and 5. The actual description of it is the 2 lowest unbid suits. So if a major is opened, the jump to 2-No Trump as overcaller will show both minors, at least 5 cards in each, and pretty good suits. And if they had opened a minor, it would show hearts and the unbid minor. Because remember, the 2 lowest unbid suits, one of them's not ever going to be spades. So that's how you can remember. Unusual 2-No Trump is cool in two respects. One is that the bid of 2-No Trump really does interfere in the opponent's bidding, because now their bid has to be at the 3 level. And there's actually a convention been introduced to help the declaring side, the opening bid side, be able to communicate after that happens. So that's good because it gives a preemptive value. And then the second thing is you always know what partner's 2 suits are. You're never unclear about which 2 suits they hold. So I promised you some sample hands. So here's your one. Here's your first one. And this is the hand. The opening bid was 1 club. So what would you bid with that hand? Well, you have 6 and 5. 6 diamonds and 5 hearts. So that's pretty cool. We kind of like that, don't we? Now the problem is their suits aren't that great. So for me, I would look at these 2 suits and I'd say, well, I have 3 of the top 5, but they're not very good. I'd be forcing partner to bid at the 3 level. If we were not vulnerable, I'd probably go ahead and bid 2-No Trump. I'd like to have more for partner. I'd like to have stronger suits. But, you know, sometimes you just don't have it, do you? Vulnerable? I don't know. I might pass. It really depends on your partnership agreements and how your partner feels about things when they go down. You know? It's easy to say, oh, I'd always bid 2-No Trump. But is your partner going to have a sense of humor when he goes down 3 and 3 hearts? That's something to think about. So these are the kinds of hands that you and partner need to discuss. This isn't a clear-cut bid. I mean, some people might think it is because you're 6-5, but you have to think about what your partner's going to expect in the way of strength in your suits. And you have to have discussions with partner and come to agreements about how you want to play. So this is a maybe. What about this one? The opening bid is 1 heart. You're 5 and 5 in the 2 minor suits, and that's what a bid of 2-No Trump would show. How do you feel about that? You probably could not pay me enough to make me bid 2-No Trump. If my partner bid 2-No Trump on that hand, and I had to play the hand out with like 3 little bitty diamonds, I'd be very sad. I would be very, 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 very sad. Okay? The suits, you are 5-5, that's good, but the suits are lousy. So I would just pass that hand after a 1 heart opening bid. Again, remember, I'm a purist. I'm conservative. I like to have my values. When I know we have a fit, I'm aggressive. If I'm not sure we have a fit, I tend to be on the more conservative side. This one, down here. The opening bid is 1 diamond. What would you do? This is a hand I would bid 2-No Trump. My hearts are good. My clubs are pretty good. I have Ace, Jack, 9. again, it's a vulnerability question. You have to think about how's partner gonna feel if they're at the 3 level and they have 3 baby clubs or something like that. But this is getting more towards what I would overcall. What I would bid 2 no on. If I change this to a queen, I think everybody in the world would bid 2 no trump with that hand. And our last one. Here you are, you're 5 and 5. The opening bid was 1 club. What would you do? I hope you said 1 spade. Remember, the unusual 2 no trump always shows the 2 lowest unbid suits. Yeah. So the 2 lowest unbid suits after a 1 club bid would be hearts and diamonds. Unusual 2 no trump never shows spades. Alrighty. Someone asked me to talk more about reverses. So that's what we're going to do next week. I'll give you some reverse hands for you to practice with. Hope you enjoyed this little series of classes. I know this might not be something you're planning on doing for a while, but at least now, if they do it against you, you know what it is. And if the robots do it, you know what they're doing. I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.